Mike! Hey, Mike, is that you?
What, is that you, Bruce?
Whoa, wait! Oh, where's the big fish?
You just made me miss my second 10-pounder of the morning.
yeah, like that was my fault that you didn't bring that one in, huh?
It was your fault. If I would have been paying attention to that instead of... How are you, Bruce?
I'm good. Hey, this is a nice day to be out here, isn't it?
It is a good day. It'd have been a lot better if I'd have caught that 10-pounder.
Yeah, that would have been pretty sweet. I agree with you. But I tell you what, it was a nice out. I kind of had the same idea. I mean, I wasn't going to fish, but I was going to put my canoe in and paddle around a little bit.
That sounds like a good day is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I don't know much about canoeing. All I do is fish from the dock.
Well, how about this? How about you help me put my canoe in, and you can ride in the front, and I'll paddle you around. You can fish all over this pond.
All over it?
All over it.
I think that's a pretty good deal, Bruce. Let's do that.
All right, well, let's go get you a life jacket, get you suited up, and we'll put it in there.
All right. Bruce, something's not working out right.
What's the problem?
It just doesn't seem to want to go all the way around me. You got anything else?
Well, yeah.
I'll tell you what, I could just leave it open because it is a lot cooler that way.
When you're dealing with a life jacket, one of the universal rules about a life jacket is whatever fasteners it has, they need to fasten. So a zipper needs to zip and a buckle needs to buckle, every one of them. And you can't get any of them going, can you?
I can't get anything going. Do you know how a person's level?
No, how do you know that?
They have a bubble in the middle. No, it's not. This one's not going to work. Do you have anything bigger?
Your bubble's definitely a problem there. So let me just show you. I was looking at some of these that I have here, and you know, really, you need to inspect your life jackets occasionally because they do wear out. You know, and the last thing you want it to do is to not do its job when you really need it.
This one looks like it's been here for a while.
Yeah, you can see how it's faded and all that, but also when you feel how thin that is. The material's just really. The flotation material feels like it's deteriorating, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing in that one.
Yeah, I think this one's seen better days. Probably needs to go in the trash. And, you know, I was looking at this one, and at first glance, it looks pretty good. Faded a little bit here at the top, but it's not ripped until you see this. And then there's a rip starting, and you think, well, that's not that big a deal, but if that rips farther, there's your flotation material gone. And again, what's a few dollars for a life jacket worth, you know, your life, you know, so.
Well, I don't plan on falling out, so I guess I could get by with that.
Well, you could, but we don't want to do that. So we're gonna throw that one back there. And this was a large, and here's another one that's in really good repair. It's a extra large. So try that one on, Mike. Let's see how that does.
Hey, things are coming together now, Bruce.
It looks like it is.
So there's the zipper.
Right up.
And it's got two straps on it, doesn't it?
Two buckles, yep. There you go.
All right, strap number one.
Yep.
Click.
Yep.
Strap number two. Click.
So how's that feel?
It feels really good. It feels snug. Is it supposed to be this snug?
It's supposed to be very snug. You should feel like, yeah, like you don't want any looseness, because what happens if it's really baggy on you, when you need that life jacket and you get in deep water, then you go down and the life jacket goes up without you, because maybe your arm's up, it slips right over your head. Or that's the possibility anyway.
This thing's not coming.
Yeah, so that's a perfect fit. That's ideal right there. That's very good. So that'll be good. You know, aside from life jackets, you know, there's other things you need to consider gear-wise when you're getting in the water. Like if you're just fishing from the shore, it's maybe not as important. But if you're going to boat, any kind of water sport activity, then there's a lot of difference in clothing.
Well, tell me about it, because I do most of my fishing from the bank and the dock.
Yeah, well, like you've got jeans on, which are great, but those blue jeans are, you know, cotton blend, and when they get wet, what happens what happens when they get wet?
Well, they get heavy. They
get heavy, and they stay wet for a long time, don't they?
A long time, yeah.
Yeah. So like I've got on some like a synthetic material, and when these get wet, kind of think of the same material that's in a swimsuit, you know, swimming trunks. You know, when you get out of the water, they dry out pretty fast, and that's the way these pants do. So, you know, if you have cool conditions and you get your pants wet, then it just saps the heat from your body, because that water in those pants just keeps absorbing that heat and taking it from your body, and it can really get you cold in a hurry. And actually the same with your shirt. Like this shirt I'm wearing is just a cotton t-shirt, and when it gets wet, it would stay wet just like the pants. But a lot of times when I'm boating, I'll wear a t-shirt like this, which looks just like the one I'm wearing except for the collar, but it's actually a synthetic blend also, and this would dry out really fast and not sap, again, that heat from your body.
I guess if we're out on the lake and we're in that boat, we don't have the option to make it back maybe as fast as we would if the truck was just next to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and then even jackets like a sweatshirt, you know, these are great. And what do those do? Those soak up water, and they get heavy. And then same principle. So if you need a jacket, you need to think about, you know, if it's that kind of weather, cool kind of weather, you know, maybe something that's not going to just suck the water up and then keep that cold water against your skin. I mean, that's a big thing with clothing. But then I also notice you got that fancy hat.
Well, yeah. So let me tell you about this hat. This is my lucky fishing hat. You never turn it upside down. The luck will run out.
Well, then how did you get it on your head?
I hadn't really thought about that. Maybe that's why I'm not catching anything.
That could be it. Well, one thing about that hat, now you may not have thought about this because it's just your lucky fishing hat, but it gives you some sun protection for your ears and a little bit of your face. Like, I always like to wear a hat when I'm out on the water because I'm getting bald and I need to protect my bald head. So I wear a cap a lot of times. I also like to wear like a hat like this, and a lot of people think it's for style. But that's
you do look good.
It's not really for style so much as just like your hat, it kind of protects your ears, the sun off your ears.
Now mine brings me luck.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yes.
Well, lucky or not, it does kind of keep the sun off your ears and part of your face. So that's a good thing. And then I guess the other thing to think about is your shoes. Like again, if you're just fishing from the shore, then it's not a big concern. But if you're going to get in the water, and if you're going to canoe or get any kind of activity, water sport activity, where you're planning to get in the water, you know, you need to have some sort of a water shoe. And if you wear like boots like what you have on, or like a hiking boot like what I'm wearing, they get full of water, and then that's not comfortable. So I like these. I have this sandal here that's like a hard sole, closed toe, and it has a strap, and yet the water can drain out all around it. Of course, it's a sandal. And I like to wear those when I'm boating or anytime I'm going to be walking in the water or in the river, I mean, because, you know, you never know when there might be glass or something down there too. So if you go barefoot, you don't want that.
I wish folks wouldn't throw the glass in there to start with.
I know, but some people, you just can't do anything with them.
Yeah, so definitely a shoe when you're in the water, never barefoot. I understand that.
Don't go barefoot.
But it needs to shed the water and not hold it like my boots.
Exactly, and and you can get water shoes that have like elastic around the ankle that are nice. But I like these because they have a hard sole, personally. One thing you want to avoid really though is flip-flops or Crocs, because when you get in the water and they come off your feet, they just float away or they won't stay on your feet, period, and they don't do what you want them to do then. So something with a strap or an elastic band is what you really need when you're in the water. So let me get my life jacket on, and then we'll.
Yeah, all jokes aside, before we stop to do all this, the fish really were biting.
Well, maybe we can get them biting again.
I hope so. I hope so.
All right, let me get this buckle. Oh, yeah. See, you know it's good whenever it's
warm hug from Mom. Let's
warm
do
hug.
this.
Let's go.
It's a nice vessel, Bruce. Isn't there some kind of law about whistles too? Aren't I supposed to have a whistle here in the state of West Virginia or something audible?
Yeah, so there is a law now that I keep a whistle on my vest here. When you're in a boat, you're supposed to have a whistle. And the reason is, like, if there's danger, it's so much easier to hear, you know, a whistle than a human voice, even if you're yelling or something like that. And especially if you get into a situation like here, we're at a nice calm pond. But if you're into like white water, like rushing water, even just not even what people consider white water, it makes a lot of noise, and it's really hard to hear. But you can hear that whistle.
I'm not sure I should go with you. I don't have an extra one.
Well, I usually carry an extra because every person's supposed to have one. And so here, you put that one around your neck, Mike.
Yellow whistle. Thank you, Bruce.
Now we always know where you're at. So on the canoe, let's roll this canoe up here and let me show you a few things. I know you've been in a canoe before, but just in case you're not familiar, you know, canoes are perfectly symmetrical, and the only reason you know the front from the back is the back seat is closer to the rear of the canoe, or the stern, and the front seat has leg room, right? I thought what we would do, I don't have a pole, I was just going to canoe around, so I thought maybe I'd put you in the front and you can do some fishing, and I'll paddle you around. I'll be your little motorboat.
I would love that. A trolling motor.
Yeah.
Bruce.
So I always find it better to put my gear in the canoe while it's here on the bank. So you can put your pole in there. Our paddles are right here. Let's get them and put a paddle in the front and a paddle back here in the back. And they don't have to be in the exact position, but just in the neighborhood. The other thing I might tell you before we get down to the water, when it comes to getting in a canoe, it's helpful to have 3 points of contact. So what I mean by that is you have 2 hands and 2 feet, that's 4 points. So as I get in, see, I've got 2 hands down, I've got a foot in, that's 3 points. And so as I move around, I might take one hand off, but I always keep one hand on, and that keeps me real steady. And also a wide base in the canoe also helps in terms of when it's rocking. It's better than being in the middle, you know. So anytime you want to move back and forward, if you just keep those 3 points of contact and walk back and forth, you can do it real steady because you can steady the canoe with your points on the gunnels. These are called the gunnels. So
I can see how the thing would be really easy to roll over. I can understand what you're saying.
yeah,
We definitely don't want to make our face one of those points of contact.
exactly.
All right. Are we going to slide it in, Bruce?
Yeah, so let's just slide it right down along the side of the dock there, it'll be fine. And let me stop right here, Mike, and tell you, this is of course really extreme, but some people try and get in a canoe when one end is still on the bank like this. Now this is an extreme example because the bank's steep, but you can see how unsteady that is because all the weight is down there on that very tip, and it's very unsteady. So even if you have a shallow bank, you don't want to get in a canoe as it's launching this way. You want to put it on the side of the bank, or we have a dock here. We'll go use that dock here today. So let's slide it on down there. I got the back end. All right, you got it?
Yes, sir. Oh, what a fine vessel.
I'll come down here and hold on to it when you want to go ahead and get in there towards the front.
All right, so I'm looking at 3 points of contact, correct, Bruce?
That's right.
All right, so here's 1, here's 2, here's 3.
Yep.
And then I'm going to put my weight in.
Yep.
Excellent. I think I'll go ahead and help you. I think this oar slid.
Yeah, and then you can go walk to your
paddle
seat.
slid just a little too far forward. I have not done 3 points of contact there. There we go. That's much more stable.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. And sit.
How's
Bruce
that
is
feel?
wonderful.
All right. So I'm going to get in now. And again, using the same method, the 3 points of contact. I've got the 2 hands and a foot. And then I'll bring the other foot in.
It's not much different than being on the dock, really.
Yeah. Sit down. We're all good.
All right. I'm so glad you gave me a fitted life jacket.
Yeah. Well, you know, this pond actually is pretty deep, so it's definitely over our heads. If we would tip over right now, we would not be touching, so we need the life jackets. So Mike, I'll paddle if you want to do some fishing.
I would love to.
Yeah, try that out a little bit. I'll be like I said, I'll be your trolling motor.
Take me to that bank, sir.
All right.
You know, Bruce, it doesn't take a whole lot of water to really get yourself in trouble. I was wading one time and fell in about 10 inches of water. My waders started to fill and it was really heavy. And had I not been, you know, followed one of the rules of having someone else with me, I'd have been in a whole lot of trouble. Not to mention it was really cold that day.
Yeah, you know, it just pays to never forget the power of water, whether it's filling up your boot like that and with the weight, or whether it's the current, you know, washing you away, or whether it's the temperature sapping the heat from your body. You need to respect the power of the water has. So I don't know, Mike. I know you've had a few nibbles here. You ready to go back to the shore for a little bit of fishing, or what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, did you see that 10-pounder we caught? Because it's our lie. We've got to tell it together. Let's go ahead and get out of here.
Let's head for the dock.